Mabuhay! My name is Isabel, and I'm from the archipelago of 7,107 islands, high tide, 7,108 low tide, the Philippines. I'm 31. I'm just kidding. I'm 41. I just wanted to see if you'll believe me. Because my friends, they ask me, Isabel, what's your secret for looking so young? And I tell them, Hay nako, Inday, it's all about moisturizing. That's why I use Dove, because you're more beautiful than you think. There are so many Doves, but my favorite is Dove pomegranate. Ay, it smells so good. In Manila, I didn't even know what a pomegranate was. The first time I saw one here in Canada, I said, oh my, all those seeds, so hard to eat. That's why I just put it on my face. So, I've been living here in Vancouver for 8 years now. First 2 years as live-in caregiver for the Choi family. After staying with the Choi's, I got an open work permit, so I opened the door of my life. I told myself, this is it, Isabel. This is your chance to find new opportunities. And when I was young, I always said I want to be a Broadway. So I got a job here at Nature's Taste near the train station on Broadway. Anyway, last year, my son Miguel moved here to be with me. He's 15 now. He was barely 7 when I left Manila, but now he's here. My son is here, and after all these years of waiting, this is all that matters.
Hey, sup? Miguel here. Been in Vancouver for over a year. What's that? Oh yeah, Vancouver is okay, I guess. Pretty different. Well, very different. Stuff here is crazy expensive, like 100 times more than in Manila. We stay in this basement suite on 43rd and Fraser. Actually, I don't know why they call it a suite when there's nothing sweet about it. Freezing during winter, and I can't play my music because Mr. Rajgopal upstairs complains it's too loud. It's nothing like the place we had in Manila, where we had real windows that overlook the street. Now, the street overlooks us. Basta next year, I'm turning 16 and I can't wait to get a job. I'm gonna get one of Timis, earn a shitload of money, and get out of this dump. Yeah, that's all that matters.
Sometimes I wake up in the morning when it's still dark outside. I look at the white beams of the ceiling and I say to myself, where am I? How did I get here? I feel like I'm in the movie of Leonardo DiCaprio. What is that again? The one who are in a dream of a dream? Ay, alam ko na. I know. Inception. Then I realized, OMG, the dream is real. I have to get ready for work. So I made breakfast for Miguel and me. Spam, fried eggs, garlic rice, and lots of banana ketchup. I'm sure you didn't know you can make ketchup out of bananas, no? Only in the Philippines, because all the bananas in the world came from us. FYI, banana ketchup is not yellow, it's red. We make it look like tomato ketchup so that you don't think we're weird. In Manila, spam is not cheap. We only eat it on Sunday before going to church. Now, I tell my friends back home, you know what, Inday? In Canada, we eat spam every day. After cooking, I shower quickly. And by 6, I'm out of the house to get to work. Miguel doesn't wake up till 8. Hay nako, actually, I don't know what time that boy goes to bed. I have second job at grocery on Broadway. I'm there until 10 p.m. By that time, I get home, Miguel's in his bedroom with his headphones on. He always says he's doing his homework, but I think he's just watching videos. But what can I do? Teenagers these days.
I got home after school yesterday, and I was starving. Opened the fridge. Bagels and tuna salad, and leftover spam. I hate tuna salad. I'm sick of bagels. I want rice and sinigang or adobo or caldereta. But Inay can only cook these dishes on Sunday, her day off. She'd make a whole pot and we'd eat it the whole week. But today is Thursday and there's none left. That's what the tuna salad is for. Back in Manila, when I lived at my lola's, every night we would have at least 3 dishes. My lola loved to cook, My cousins Julian and Susan and Uncle Alex live there too. Julian is a year older than me and Susan is, I think, 8? Anyway, Uncle Alex works at the call center, graveyard shift. He's a customer service representative for TELUS. They're trained to speak in a Canadian accent like, "How can I help you today? Let me adjust that bill for you." The other day, he told me that a customer was being friendly and said something about the Canucks game the night before. And he said, oh yeah, of course, the Canucks. My uncle hasn't watched a single hockey game in his life. If he saw a puck, he'd think it was a paperweight. Uncle Alex has dinner with us before he leaves for work. It'd always be so noisy around the dining table. We'd be talking about our day, joking around, and Lola would keep on topping up our plate with food. Man, I'm hungry. Now, I go home to our suite, and all I have is tuna salad and the TV. I don't know any of the neighbors, so I spend the rest of the evening playing GTA. And the best part is that Inay got me these kick-ass headphones last Christmas so that Mr. Raja Gopal upstairs would stop complaining about the noise. So that means I could play until 2 in the morning, completely undetected. Yup, that's how it works.
Yesterday, I had a really bad episode at work. I had very little sleep the night before because I did the laundry and there was just so many to wash. Anyways, there was this woman who ordered a dozen of donuts and I mixed up her order and gave her scones instead. If you ask me, I was just doing her a favor by not giving those donuts really. Anyway, she had to walk back several blocks with her little daughter to tell me I made a mistake. Of course, I kept on saying sorry. She wasn't rude or anything. In fact, when I handed her the donuts, she smiled and I apologized again. But then, when started to head out, she turned to her daughter and said, "This is why you have to study hard, my love, because otherwise you'll end up just like her." I froze, just like her. The words echoed in my head the whole day. Just like her? What does it mean to be just like me? When I got home, all I wanted was to see Miguel, to hear his voice. I wanted to find in his face some sign that I've made the right choices. You know, that I've been a good mother, that I wasn't just like her. I knocked on his door. "Miguel, anak," but he was asleep.
Couldn't sleep last night. It's exactly a year today since I last saw Itai, my father. I wonder how he is. If he thinks of me sometimes. When I was living with my Lola, and then I was here in Canada, my father worked in Cavite, 40 kilometers away from my Lola's place. He had a sales job there. And because traffic is really bad, he rented the room in Cavite and left me with my Lola. He would go see me on Saturdays, and sometimes he'd stay till Sunday. I remember he used to say, "Don't worry, anak, we'll see you in nice soon. Just wait, and next thing you know, you'll be playing in the snow and eating spaghetti and meatballs every day." Every night I would wait for the phone to ring for Inay to call and say, "Miguel, come to Canada tomorrow." But as years went by, and as I waited for that particular phone call, I began to see less and less of my father as well. At first, he'd say he had to work overtime, that they needed him to work Saturdays. Sometimes it'd be because of the traffic. But you know, even if he didn't come, I knew that just like me, he waited for Inay too.
Roberto, I can't wait for the time when my blood doesn't boil every time I think of that son of a bitch. Oh, I'm sorry. Am I allowed to say that here? But yes, I guess there's no better way to refer to him. Or wait, maybe, asshole? 10 years ago, when Miguel was 5, I was teaching English at public high school. And Roberto was a med rep. You know, a salesperson of pharmaceuticals. He'd go to doctors and talk about his new wonder drug and how it will cure everything from migraines to acne. Anyway, we realized at one point that no matter how hard we worked, what we were earning would never be enough to send Miguel to a good university or to buy a house. Our neighbor Pasing had a cousin who went to Canada through the live-in caregiver program, and Pasing told us how their whole family go to Canada and find their jobs, and that life was good. So I thought to myself, maybe I could do this. Yes, I love teaching, but I want to give my kid a good future, and in Manila, a teacher's salary will never be enough. At first, Roberto didn't like the idea. Nakakahiya, he would say. It's embarrassing. What would the neighbors say? A teacher going abroad to be a caregiver in someone's house? I told him, Roberto, there's no space for hiya here. If we want to build this family, we'll have to let go of shame. We just need to do what must be done.
I know I really should do my homework, but who cares about that, right? Even if you don't get us, you're still a winner here in Canada, diba? University is just for rich people anyway. The other day, Miss Nelson, that's my science teacher, asked me something about the migration of swallows, and I read about it and shit, but I couldn't speak up. I guess you could say I was kinda worried, that they might laugh again. The way they did a couple months back when I said Shaughnessy instead of Shaughnessy. I don't know why, but I could never get that right.
In Shaughnessy, when I was working for the Choice, I got paid $8 an hour. They took out $325 each month for a room and board, and that left me with around $900. I would keep $150 to pay for my phone, my shampoo, and of course, my Dove pomegranate, and some money for going out on my day offs. The rest I would send home for Miguel's school and his living expenses. I was happy to earn more than twice I was earning in Manila, but of course I was so homesick. I missed my family, gossiping with my friends. I missed being a teacher. At first, I would call Roberto every week on Saturdays when he and Miguel were together, but then sometimes Roberto couldn't go to Manila, and to save money, I called every other week, then it became once a month. Every night before going to bed, I would look at our family picture from the last Christmas I spent in Manila and think about how happy we were. Ay, ano ba, Isabel? What's a little homesickness? This is for your family. This is for Miguel.
As the weather got colder and colder though, temperatures at home got hotter and hotter. Inay and Itay started fighting. A lot. And it was always about money. I could never hear everything at the start because they used to fight in their room. Then later, they'd fight in the living room. And by then, my headphones were already my best friend. One morning, I woke up and went to get some juice in the kitchen. And I saw things were missing. The TV, the microwave. I ran to my parents' room to tell them, Inay, Itay, we've been robbed. Call 911. But all I found was Inay sitting at the foot of the bed, crying. The closet was open and my father's clothes were gone. I haven't seen him since.
Attention please. This is the final call for Korean Air flight.
The moment I saw them at the airport, I ran and I hugged Miguel so tight, I think he couldn't breathe. I was afraid people would call 911 and report me for child abuse. I hugged Roberto and then we headed for the SkyTrain with all the luggage and sat in front. While he and Miguel were looking outside the window to see what Vancouver was like, I remember looking at my son, then him, this man, my husband. The mole on his right cheek, his mustache, his pointy ears. I recognized all of these, but then I realized that there was also a part of him I did not recognize anymore. And although I couldn't put my finger on it, I knew something had changed.
Things change so much here. The weather, the seasons. One day, you're at your lola's where it's always sunny and you have so much fun. Next thing, you're in a city, trapped in the basement. And it just keeps raining. Your voice changes, your body changes, and you feel just like a pancake at IHOP. Your whole world flipped upside down.
So of course, I took them downtown. I showed them Gastown, Yaletown, and my personal favorite, Metrotown. Everything was new and exciting at first, but then things changed when Roberto, no matter how hard he tried, couldn't find a job. He didn't want to try something like Tim Hortons. He thought it was beneath him. I tell him, but this is how it works here. You need Canadian experience. Nakakahiya, he would say, and we'd always end up fighting. Because of my two jobs, I hardly got to see both of them. I'd be so exhausted when I got home. Many times, Roberto would go 5 blocks away to the house of Kiko, who's also from the same hometown. Kiko lived with his wife, 2 kids, his sister-in-law, and a cousin, and Roberto would go there practically every day so that they could talk about life back in the Philippines and how every day was a fiesta. Kami naman, the only time we had as a family was my day off on Sunday when we went to church, and that's when I'd pray to the Blessed Virgin Mary to knock some sense into my husband's head. Otherwise, I'll knock his head with something harder. Anyway, one night, this was like a year ago, he came home drunk. As I led him to bed and drew closer to him, I smelled something on his neck, and it was not the smell of Dove pomegranate. I know every fragrance of shampoo, lotion, and laundry soap in this house, and I knew this was not one of them. Roberto, sabihin mo sa akin ang totoo. Tell me the truth. He broke down and cried. He'd been having an affair with the sister-in-law of Kiko for the past 3 months. At that moment, I couldn't think straight. After all these years, working here in Canada, giving up my hiya to care for him, for a son, this is how he repays me? Lumayas ka dito. Leave us. Don't ever come back. He took his clothes, some of our stuff, and then he left.
It's all her fault why Itay left. She's always, Roberto, you have to do this! Roberto, why don't you do that? She's the same with me, and she drives me nuts. Miguel, study hard, do the dishes, just eat your tuna salad and stop complaining. In Manila, I never had to do the dishes. Lola would always take me to school. Here, Inay keeps on saying, Tandaan mo anak, school is important. But she never helps me with my homework. She doesn't even find the time to attend the parent-teacher meetings. And I feel I'm the only kid in school whose parents never show up. When she gets home, she's so tired. How can I give a whole shift just to be able to attend a meeting at your school? It's always about making money, more money. It's for you, anak. It's for your future. But what about me now? What about my life now? She wants me to study college after. But what's the use of college anyway? She graduated from a university in Manila. She was a teacher. Now she makes sandwiches and works at the grocery. What's a degree for? School is such a waste of time. But the next year, when I'm 16, I'm gonna find a job and make my own money so that I don't have to hear her say, money doesn't grow on trees, Miguel. And how she sacrificed her life for me. But living so far away from me, not being able to see me for 7 fucking years, tell me, didn't she sacrifice me too?
Sacrificio, sacrifice. This is what it's all about, right? Blessed are the poor, for theirs is the kingdom of heaven. The night before I left for Canada, when Miguel was about to go to bed, I held him in my arms. Anak, tomorrow, Inay is going somewhere, okay? To this place called Canada. I'm going to find us a new house where everything is cold, with lots of food, and where they have snow. He nodded and fell asleep. While he lay there, I looked at my son's face, his eyes, his cheeks. I knew that tomorrow if he saw me crying when I left, he would cry too, and I wouldn't be able to leave. So the next day, before he woke up, I kissed him on the forehead, and then I took my bags and left. I was crying all the way to the airport. I was crying on the plane. Sometimes I feel I haven't stopped crying since.
Sometimes, I feel this when I started remembering things so clearly. That morning, I left. I remember waking up with the white beams of the ceiling looking down on me. I remembered my dream. I was in this beautiful place with big golden houses and snow. I was so excited. I ran to the kitchen to tell her.
I saw it, Inay. I saw Canada. But she wasn't in the kitchen, and instead I found my grandmother. Where is Inay, Lola? I want to go with her to Canada. Lola bent down and held my hand.
Miguel, your Nana has left.
Left where? Aren't we going with her?
No, Canada is very far away. This morning, your tatay took her to the airport.
To the airport? Why didn't they take me?
Oh, they don't allow kids at the airport.
Why didn't she say goodbye?
You were still asleep and she didn't want to wake you.
But when will I see her? I want to see my Inay!
Soon, Miguel, you'll see her soon.
Soon, anak. Soon. I promise you, life will be better for you, for both of us. Soon.
That time my mother left, when I was 7, soon became days, weeks, months. At 7, I realized the very painful truth. My mother had abandoned me. And as the years went by, and her image began to fade, I could no longer remember what it was like. The way she touched my cheeks, the feel of her hands. Sure, she sent home money, sent me toys and chocolates. Sure, there were phone calls and pictures. But you can't hide a phone call, can you? And a picture can tell you that everything will be alright.
Just wait, anak. Soon, everything will be alright.
Inay, all these years I've been waiting. Tell me, please tell me, when does soon begin?